Hi everyone, this is Richard. In this video, let's talk about nested elements. So this is basically getting a little bit off topic, but as I mentioned before, I'm not very good with HTML. I'm not even a beginner. I'm kind of like learning it as we're going along. So I learned this on Blazor University. It's blazor-university.com, a great site. And I wanted to just share this because this is something I'm learning and I'm documenting my learning experience. Okay, so we have these div elements. Okay, so a div element in HTML basically it's just a section of code. So when you have a section, you're splitting sections of code and you're putting stuff inside of there and you don't know how else to split the section apart, you use a div element. Okay, a div element. Okay, so right here, we're making sections and we're having different buttons. Why would I do this? I don't know. I'm not sure. I just do. Okay, so what we have is a parent, the div, and then there's a div element here, which is a child of the parent. So it's inside the div here. And you have another div that's inside this div. So this is a child of this is a child of that. All right. And so it goes in a hierarchy right there. So it's within the div element, not underneath it, not the next one. And we have these buttons labeled first, second, and third, okay? And then you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute, why am I having the on-click on the div and not the button? I'm just trying to prove a point, okay? So this is not exactly what you're supposed to do. And then when I click on it, it's supposed to have first, second, and third, and it's going to type it here, okay? So what happens? I don't even need to click on the button, right? So I could click over here. I'll click first. It types first here. I could click over here. And I'll click first here, right? So that's the entire section across is the div element, okay? And this is just the button element in the div element. And then I could click second, and it hits second first, and I hit third, and it hits third, second, first. Okay, what's going on here? Why when I hit third is it hitting all of these? Well, what happens is that when you activate a child element, the effect of that child gets sent up to the parent and gets sent up to the parent. So what's actually happening is I'm saying on click the third on this button, this div, and then it sends the message up there. And this is just standard. This is just the way HTML works. It activates this div and activates this div. Okay, so how do we prevent that from happening? There's a couple of ways of doing it. Okay, what if instead of on click I put on mouse over? And here on, what else could I do? On mouse down, on mouse wheel. I'm not even sure what that is. Okay, let's try this instead. Okay, so on click, if this happens on click, it'll send the on click up here, but there's no on click. And there's no on click, so it should just activate this, even though it's sending the message upstream. Nothing else should actually happen, okay? So third, it just hits third, that's it. Third, just the third. And what's the second on mouse over? So if I mouse over the second, it's gonna put the second, right? See that? So when I put the mouse over, I don't even have to click on it. And the first, what is that? Mouse wheel? I'm gonna scroll the mouse wheel, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna put it over, just put it over the div somewhere here and scroll down, up, and then it has first, okay? So notice they're all different, so it sends the message differently. But what if, no, I wanna do an on click, okay? And this one I want to do on click. I don't wanna change it. So what you can do is here you could put at on click, stop propagation, okay? And you just have to do this. This is something you just have to understand about the behavior. And so what happens is if I click on here, it says, okay, you could click on the third element, but do not send the message upstream. If you click here, do not send the message upstream. Okay, so it blocks it right here. It blocks it right here. First, you don't need to put that because there's no upstream for it to go, right? So we'll reload this and we'll click first. Oh, actually, let's click third. Third, it'll just click third. Second, just second. It will not propagate up the stream. And first, it'll click first. Okay, so that was something that I learned. I thought it was pretty neat. So that's something about nested elements. Having elements within elements, that's the behavior, how it sends that message upstream. Thanks.